Alright, today we're making the big terrarium. It's gonna have a waterfall, it's gonna have shrimp, it's gonna have fish, and it's gonna have cool plants. For the waterfall, we're gonna have it on the left corner over here for our pump. I've already made pump protector, PVC boards, fly screen, hole. Today we need to do the siliconing and we need to put some wood in.
That's a dog reveal.
Alright, so we need to put some silicone on this edge, silicone on that edge, stick it in the tank. First piece we're going to do something like this, I think. So we've got some of the wood in place, at least the main two pieces. Now with the waterfall, I was planning to have it right up the top, but I don't really want the waterfall coming onto this log. And I've already siliconed this, so I can't make another hole. So I'm just gonna have a little elbow joint sticking out of here, coming straight down, and then I can have the waterfall starting directly underneath this little shelf here. So I'm gonna silicone this log in place. This one for right now, it's a bit too heavy to silicone just to the glass. So I am going to have something to support it underneath. So we'll do that tomorrow so we can get some rocks and stuff under to hold it up as well. We're going to leave that to cure overnight. Alright guys, it's 2 days later. I've been out on the rope swing, cliff jumping. I'm going to put that clip here. But now, it is time to get back into siliconing our terrarium. So today, we're going to silicone this big log in the corner. I've cut a piece of PVC board just to disperse some of the weight on the ground. We're going to be using a bunch of lava rock to hold this up and also to hide this. So I've got a bit of a structure underneath our log now. I don't want to hide this stick. I want it to look like it's digging through the side of the rock, same as some of these other ones. I'm trying to find some rock that shapes this stick well, but what keeps happening is I'm trying to fit these little ones in place and the whole structure is just falling over. So I'm going to glue some of them in place, and once it's a little bit more secure we can fill in some of these other gaps here. So I've finished making the little box for our mist maker. As we can see, the mist maker is just going to go in here and it's going to overflow through this little bit. Now this is going to go at the back here. Bear with me. When you're looking at the terrarium, it's almost hidden where the water comes out from, and it's going to be quite a steep drop down onto some rocks here. I'm planning on trying to have some sort of like hidden cave behind the water here, so we'll see how that goes. Before we get started on that, as you can see, I've added filter mesh to try and protect anything from going in here. The next step is to just try stack up some pieces of rock to try and hide some of the foam here so we can't see it. I forgot to hit record, but we've got a few little rocks in the back here, underneath where the mist maker and the waterfall is. So that's going to be like a little hidden cave, possibly a mistake. I did not water test this box, meaning it might just leak. Also, we've now glued all the rocks in, so I can't get this out. This is stuck in there. Yeah. We're just going to try and water test this while it's in here, and hopefully if there is a leak I can still be able to fix it. If there isn't a leak, wonderful. Looks good to me. Woohoo! Now I found this nice piece of wood that I had outside. I'm gonna add it right in this corner here. I'm planning to keep some of the small gaps, just so some of the baby shrimp are able to get away from the fish that will be in here. But now we're going to put silicone over a bunch of these pieces of cotton. Then we're gonna use lava rock dust as well as other small pieces and make it look a little bit more natural. So now the next thing is just silicone this little box in place. Nice and tight. This hole is a little bit more forwards than the hole for the mister box, so I've put a little bit of an angle on it. I've cut another little piece. We're going to silicone this on just to push the water forwards a little bit. We're going to use a bunch of rocks to just hide it. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to fill in our holes back here with thin pieces of lava rock, and then we can put weed mat over that just so no soil leaks through into the back section. Now while the silicone's curing, we're going to tidy up around our waterfall. So we're getting close to being finished our terrarium. All of the backgrounds I'm gonna cover with silicone and some coir to allow that can absorb the, just so there's something, so the, what am I, it's all gonna, so the background's all gonna be coir, so it can soak up some of the water from the misters, and eventually moss and plants can grow up there nicely. I've gone and got some core flute, like a thin plastic. We're gonna cut it to shape for all the pieces of our background, and then I can silicone it outside, which I think is actually a better idea because I've been inhaling so much silicone fumes and I don't think that's good for me. So we're gonna do it outside. So we've got our sheet in, our first tests. Ignore those lines, I don't make mistakes, that's not what they are. As you can see from the side, we can still see into most of the terrarium. We finished it. Top piece, the next piece, this last piece. And I've left a gap here for when I make a little platform here, I can glue that straight to the glass. I'm outside now. I've got a change of clothes because I've been known to make a fair bit of mess and ruin clothes with silicone before. Basically, we're gonna silicone our pieces and then just dip them into some coir. Get some of this. All of our pieces have dried now. Probably blocked that whole thing, didn't I? Two done. Yeah. Now it's not too pretty. We're gonna do another line along here. Obviously, hide these gaps, trying to just hide some of this white. Now to hide this tube, I've got some PVC board, put some coir on here, put this in here. We're going to get some filter mesh and we're going to silicone it to make like a level here. This is taking a long time. I'm done. You can see all of the gaps are now filled in, all of these side bits as well. We've cut out another piece for here and that's just drying, so tomorrow I'll put that on. All that's left to do then is do a water test. Cleaned up the tank, all of our 3 pockets. We need to put weed mat. I've got this piece in. It's being a little bit difficult, but once I put soil in and I can kind of push the soil up against the side of the glass, then it shouldn't be an issue. This back bit here, I'm just gonna fill them in with some smaller pieces. All right, we're ready to do a water test in here. First I need to put the pump in. Got a bit more space to get in there now. I think I'm dying. My chest hurts so bad, I think I'm actually dying. I'm gonna take a breather. Down the back here, both of the holes are now covered up. Just a little bit extra protection. Alright, everything's connected. Connecting this tube here inside this little gap was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life. Time to fill up the terrarium. So it's got to fill up that little box. Oh, not too bad. This is definitely pretty aggressive. I'm going to add this rock onto it to break up the fall a little bit. Now it's hitting this rock and being pulled backwards into these lower ones. Alright, I'm going to drain all of the water, and I have this black film. We're going to stick it on the back of the tank here to hide this ugliness. I've never done this before. Whoa! Having some problems, yeah. Let's get you more sideways so you can see more of my struggle. Isn't that what? Never mind, I'm not going to say it. That bottom bit was nice and clean. A few issues up here. First time ever trying to apply this stuff. I feel like it could have gone worse. That was very hard. Next side. That somehow went worse. Onto the last side. So far so good. Third time's the charm. Hello. There's so much hair in that. My hairs just came out. Oh, man. Ow! That was stupid. Alright, it's finally time to move the tank over. I've moved some of our waterfalls out of the way. I'm an idiot. I didn't record it. But it's there. Got the light on. Next, I need to get the top on. We need to figure out how we're going to mist this thing. Misting nozzles are in place. Another waterfall test. I haven't done another one since I've added some of these little pieces. Here we go. Pretty happy. I've managed to calm the waterfall down a little bit. We've got a nice face of water now. The substrate we're going to be using is a big mix of things. We've tried to make it as chunky as possible while still being able to hold enough water. This is going to be getting sprayed fairly often, so we want it to be able to drain well. Finished. 1, 2, 3. The first plant we're going to put in the tank is this little variegated micans in the back corner. Next plant, this little Humelimena in this top corner here. Monstera obliqua Peru. Added 2 little bromeliads. This next little piece doesn't really have roots on it. Next, I'm going to add a bunch of little miniature orchids. I have a few down in this tank that are either growing really well like this and I can take some cuttings off, or there's some that just aren't too happy. The next one, we got it tied on. Also, this little guy. He was this piece. They look fairly similar, but they are different species. What I'm going to do now is get a bunch of cuttings from our ficus crucifolia. I'm just going to dot them in that back corner, trying to hide some of the soil. Like this. On this little shelf here, I'm going to try and put some live sphagnum moss, maybe some utricularia, and see how that works out. Got the sphagnum in. I'm hoping it'll eventually grow up this side crack. One of my favourite plants, Biophytum sensitivum, right in this little spot. I'm hoping it'll grow towards the light, so it'll hang over the edge. Another one of my favourite plants, Libicea turtleback. Ardisia bengkulu. This is a small little plant I got from a leaf cutting.
That looks good.
So it's been a few days since I've done anything in this tank. I have added a few extra cuttings of some crucifolia, a little macravia cutting, some little pieces of moss as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to do some stuff in the water section. These are the shrimp we're going to be adding. Blue neocaradinas. Also these crystal red shrimp. So we were right about to put our substrate into this terrarium, and then I realised I didn't have any substrate, so I went and got myself some iwagumi substrate. We are going to do a full water change, get rid of all of this, and then put in some of our new soil. Lastly, I got this cool little log for the shrimp. Before we fill this back in, I've got our substrate. We want a fairly thin layer up the front and a little bit thicker towards the back. At the back's where most of the plants are going to be. Now this doesn't have any nutrients, so we're going to break up some root tabs and put those inside with it. We are going to be putting some of this mainly towards the back because I don't want to see it as much. This is just to balance the pH, keep it right for our shrimp. So the log's going to go here. This patch we can fill with a fair bit of plants. Good place for the shrimp and stuff to hide. Then we've got a nice view at the front. Now we just got to add some root tabs, all in quarters now. So I'm just going to space them mainly around the log and the back. Little Bucephalandra. next day. Got a little bit of Java fern. I'm pretty happy with how this is looking so far. And I also quite like this little rock that we've added with some moss on it. I'm gonna add a few more of them. To do that, I'm gonna get some pieces of lava rock, take some Physidens moss. I'm just going to leave it in this container for maybe 2 weeks or so and let it just attach itself to the rock. I've selected 10 really nice dark blue dreams. So the shrimp have been dripping for quite a while now. So I think it's time to put them in. In maybe 2 weeks' time, we're going to add some crystal reds in as well. The next thing we're going to add into the water section is a few leaves that I've collected from the garden. I've boiled them in kettle water to get rid of all of the pests, and I've also let them soak in that water for almost 2 days now, just so when I do put them into the tank, they should just sink to the bottom. So I have some mulberry leaves. They do decompose very quickly, and I also have some eucalyptus leaves, which will take a much longer time to decompose, so it's like a longer lasting food source. The other good thing about adding leaves is as they decompose, they add tannins into the water, which is really good for shrimp and fish health. And it also makes the water slightly more acidic, which is what our shrimp want. And it also looks more natural. It's been about 9 days since I put the blue shrimp in here, and they're all doing really, really good. As you can see, there's a molt here, which shows me that the water parameters are right. And also, after adding in some of our leaves, some of them are starting to grow biofilm on them, which means I can start to add a few extra shrimp. I've picked out some crystal reds. I think I have 12 in there. Alright, we have the shrimp drip acclimating now. We're going to leave them for at least about half an hour. I'm an idiot. I've been editing the video and this overflowed. All the shrimp are in there still, so we're all good. It's been leaking onto my floor. No. It's been a few weeks since we've done anything in here. Our little Physidens moss rocks that we've made look like they've grown quite nicely. So we're going to add them in, and we're going to give a little update on how everything else is doing in here. Oh, the shrimp already on it. Now let's have a look at some of our changes that we've made in here. First off, our log. I've pushed it a little bit further back, and I've also spun it around. I have more room to put Bucephalandra and Anubias. A few other additions is this Schismatoglottis. Added there, here. I found a cool little climbing fern, and I've added it all over this log. A few portions on the side to hopefully grow in. A little bit over here. Now with our existing plants, you can see the moss is growing in very nicely. The biophyton has thrown out multiple babies, as you can see, all growing down there. Our bromeliads all have plenty of roots. Some of our little cuttings have started taking. This little Homulamena is struggling a little bit. I think it needs a bit more airflow. So we're going to add a little small fan on top of this. One very strange thing that I'm noticing. My shrimp have been climbing up this waterfall. You can see this little blue dream. He's trying to climb now. Mainly the crystal reds. They climb all the way up the waterfall and get into the little box that we've built. The only issue with that is the waterfall turns off at night time. When it turns off, it siphons the water back towards the pump, and I think it might be sucking up some of the shrimp back into the pump. So for now, I'm going to leave the waterfall running at night, and I'm also going to add some sort of protection over here so the shrimp can't get inside of that. Now, in this tank, we haven't entirely finished everything that we want to do. I do want to get some fish for the bottom section, but I'm going to leave that for a few weeks at least, make sure the shrimp are happy, hopefully even get them breeding before we add any fish in. I'm going to be getting a Nepenthes flava. I'm going to plant it in this section and allow it to climb up the back wall. I'm going to put a picture of Nepenthes flava here. It's quite hard to get a hold of this plant, so I have someone who's growing a couple right now, and they said they'll be ready in a few weeks. That's all we're going to do for now. in a few months' time I might make an update video on this tank, see how everything's going, give an update on the plants, maybe some new plants will be in there as well. This was my hardest waterfall I've done so far, so thank you for watching. I'm just going to put a small edit of how everything looks in here straight after this.